Well, welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's going on?
Derek, we are finally here. We should start with titles and introductions and things. However, we are in the beautiful section of Lancaster that is now being more developed than ever before. So do you two want to introduce yourself? And if you have titles, because I assume you're just wearing 30 hats, no pun intended.
It's true.
And yeah, we can start.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
I'm Ashley Schaub. I am the owner and director of operations of Brazen Brewing, and probably several other things, but I won't go into detail at
Marketing, event coordinating, I don't know.
this time. Social media.
I guess that's all operations. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm Drew Schaub. I'm the owner, brewer, janitor, jack of all trades, do anything I can't find someone else to do guy. So,
Fence installer.
Yep. Yep.
Landscaper.
Hostess, stand maker. You're all over the place.
Yep.
So we first talked, how long ago was it? Like a year and a half at this point?
I was
Yeah,
gonna
Because
say.
we got beers from you guys a while ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were delicious.
Thank you.
But like, how long ago did you actually start brewing?
Well, I mean, I started brewing 8 years ago as a home brewer. But, you know, this concept of owning a brewer, I mean, when you're brewing, like home brewers, you know, you're sitting in your driveway hanging out and you're like, yeah, we could open a brewery, right? And, you
It's
know,
always in the back of your mind.
Yeah, it's always kind of like a pipe dream thought. And I'd say, was it 3 years ago?
Probably about three
and a
when we
half.
really started thinking about
Yeah.
getting serious
When
about
we got,
it.
When we got serious about it.
When I told you, if we're going to get serious about it, we're going to do it now, or you need to stop talking about it because I'm tired of hearing about it, really.
What is that push?
That's what
Yeah.
it was. Shit or get off the pot. I want to stop hearing about it.
Yes.
Your beer's just okay. You
No,
can't do this.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. It was along those lines, but that's not exactly what I said.
It was right after I won an IPA in the Uni-Ha. I won the IPA category in Uni-Ha. I think it was about maybe 6 months or so after that.
Yeah, so he had delusions of grandeur, right? You win a competition, you're like,
Category.
I'm a professional now.
Sure.
No?
Even now, I'm still like, I don't think I'm a pro brewer. I don't know. I'm just.
So you went from homebrewing to this, which this is just colossal.
Yeah.
Massive.
In the scheme of things, right?
Yep.
And you tried to remain strong on those initial brews. Did
Yeah.
you keep any original recipes?
Yeah, I mean, all the recipes are in some form, you know, or another are part of our original, you know, recipe book. You know, I've learned a lot in the last, you know, 8 weeks or so brewing. Well, I guess a little longer than 10 or 12 weeks now brewing. You know, we made some hard mistakes and, you know, learn some hard lessons and get better every beer. I think the beers that we have on the board right now are phenomenal and very happy with them.
Yeah, I try to compare it to getting a new car. Like if you've been driving a Honda Civic and then you move to a Dodge Ram, right? It's going to take you a little bit to get used to it. Tapping that brake pedal for the first time once you move into the pickup truck is going to feel different. And when you do that, when you're brewing on a 7-barrel system versus a homebrew system, and you tap that brake pedal and something is different, it's going to affect an entire batch of beer, right? And you can't fix that. You
Right.
can't change that. And then you have to make the decision of, am I going to sell that beer or not? And so things may not taste exactly like how you wanted them to taste. And as a business owner, you have to make the decision, I'm still going to put this on the board. It may not be representative of exactly what I wanted to show to the community, but I still think it's a decent beer. And I know I'm only going to get better from where I am right now. And I think every beer that Drew and, you know, his brewing partner Justin have made is only getting better.
That's awesome. So take us back 3 years ago when you kind of start having the discussion of making this a professional hobby, because that's a daunting discussion. And not only is my beer good enough, but can this be sustainable? Like, what was your process on understanding one location, where you wanted to build this place and all that?
Yeah, I mean, we were driven by, I mean, from a location standpoint, I mean, we had our idea, we had our model. We wanted to be a small tap room. We were looking in like Tonawanda in that area, Niagara Falls Boulevard. Couldn't find a place.
felt like that was kind of a beer desert in that
yeah.
Niagara Falls Boulevard, Amherst area, that there wasn't really a lot there, and there was a lot of commercial development that they could maybe use some sort of local tap room, but also felt like our vision for what we wanted a brewery tap room to look like didn't really fit that area,
Sure.
right? We wanted outdoor space. We wanted this kind of like rural upscale feel. There really wasn't anything there where we could achieve that look. So that's when we kind of started feeling like we needed to look elsewhere in the area in Western New York. And Lancaster kind of just fit that vision for us of where we could develop something that was rural and, you know, had the room for us.
For it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the other limiting factor, constraining factor is really, you know, whether you have the utilities at the road, right? So, you know, if you need to know where the sewer is in all Lancaster, I'm your man because I know where it all is, right? I went down and got the maps from the sewer district down in Walden.
We had sewer maps
right? I mean,
all over our house for
like,
several months.
Our realtor was, you know, he'd find property and I'd pull the map out and, you know, the owner would be telling us, you know, oh yeah, there's sewer. It's like 500 feet down the road. Well, that doesn't help us, right? Like I'm not going to run a sewer line that far. So,
Right.
you know, like you really have to become your own advocate and really learn everything about construction, developing, all that stuff. I thankfully had a little bit of experience from my prior roles and job and you know, so, you know, it was quite the process though.
Why did you guys decide, was that always the dream to build rather than renovate an existing place?
This is fascinating. We talked about this before we recorded. This, great question. This needs to be discussed. Please run us through this.
Okay. So no, the dream was definitely not always to build. So when we started doing this, so Drew and I both had full-time jobs elsewhere in the corporate world when this kind of became something that we were thinking of doing. And it was definitely going to be a side project. When we started, we were thinking of opening a very small, maybe 3,000 square foot or less space with a small homebrew system, 1,000 square foot tap room in a strip mall somewhere. Yeah.
I know, right?
This place is massive.
Right.
Yeah, what the hell happened? You guys went off the rails.
Yeah. So but of course I had a Pinterest board and
That's where it all starts.
very specific on how I wanted it
I'm
to
homebrewing
look.
in the driveway and she's got it on Pinterest.
Yeah. So I couldn't find anything that really looked how I wanted it to look. And so then we're like, okay, well, maybe we could buy a building. But then I really couldn't find a building that looked how I wanted it to look. And again, I was very, very specific. And but on top of all this, of course, we're going through the economics of everything. And what you really kind of start to realize is that if you want to make a living owning a brewery, there's kind of a sweet spot, right, where you need to be. Where if you're brewing on a small scale, you maybe get stuck where you still need to work your full-time job. And you see that with a lot of small-time breweries, right? Their owners are still working their full-time jobs. There's nothing wrong with that. We just felt like we were kind of either going to be there or we were going to be in a space where we were big enough where we could try to make a go of it to support our family on a place that was big enough. And so it kind of came to, okay, well, we could try to find some land somewhere and build a space that is big enough to have a space that will support both of us. I mean, we're in a unique situation, right? We're a husband and wife team, so it's two owners. So we're not splitting the profits amongst several families, right?
Sure.
It's just us and our son. So
How did you guys meet? I know it has nothing to do with the brewery, but that
so-
whole dynamic should be discussed.
So we met back in second grade at
no, we must have met in
Jesus.
kindergarten.
probably, but
We went to the same
we went to the same
school
school. We,
growing up.
We grew up in Winslow School District. You know, there's a awesome photo of me blocking her head in the like homeroom photo for the second grade homeroom class.
yes.
You know, and she's like literally behind me. But we didn't start dating till college.
Went to UB together.
Went to UB.
We were in a community service oriented co-ed fraternity at UB that a mutual friend of ours from high school was in and kind of convinced me to join after Drew and her had joined the year before. So we credit her for our relationship and our marriage. She's still a good friend of ours to this day. So we've known each other since we were 5 and started dating in college.
And that was how went.
Well, funny story. today is actually our wedding anniversary, and we are spending it with you guys.
You guys should have told us.
You're on our wedding anniversary date right now.
You're
I mean,
welcome.
that's adorable. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
cheers
you.
to that, guys.
Cheers,
Thank you.
guys. That's
Cheers.
amazing.
Congratulations.
Cheers.
14 years.
We could have postponed.
Yeah, we could have.
We don't do anything. It's been 14 years. This is what your future looks like. No celebrations.
Killing me.
Well,
Yeah, so cheers.
We're going out next week. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's fine.
So when you're looking for a space, you feel like this fits your mold.
Yeah.
This was an empty lot before.
Yep.
And it was zoned for anything.
It was zoned like Lancaster had kind of like a weird zoning thing. It was residential business, residential commercial, something else, farm, and it was like a dual zone. This was originally farmland. There was a barn and a house that burned down like 15, 20 years ago, or it became, I don't know, it became unlivable, and then the fire department burned it down. But yeah, I mean, we kind of stumbled upon it, and it had some trees, some old growth trees, but mostly it was just shrubs and or scrub, so we cleared it, and we left one tree in the back corner there.
What's the lot size?
2.5 acres.
Because this is like this. You come out here, and people are probably thinking like Lancaster Brewery, like where in Lancaster
Yeah.
is it? It's not in the village, but like you come out here, and it's you're coming out here to hang out and like spend some time and experience outdoors, inside, and just kind of experience it all.
Yeah.
When you're building this spot, a lot of people, when they're building a place, they're like, it looked so much bigger on paper, and now it's small. Do you even feel that? Because this still feels massive in here.
When the walls were going up, we were like, oh, it's a good size. I remember feeling like, oh, maybe we don't have enough room, right? And it felt small. Once we started getting like the cold room in and some of the other, interior walls up. But once we got tables in and everything, I was like, oh no, this is the right size. Like, we had a good architect that helped us with this, and made sure we had the right layout, the right flow. We have the mezzanine spot, so we had, you can do events up there. We have space for what, 150?
Yeah,
now?
about 150.
Yeah.
Well, plus in the outdoor space.
And then the
too.
outdoor space.
And the
That's
outdoor
just
space
inside,
was
yeah.
so important, right? I mean, there's so many spots that we loved going to. Hamburg, Southern Tier,
Right.
42 North, all those spaces in the South Towns that we just love spending time at. We are from the North Town, so we don't get down there very often. We just didn't feel like there were any places up this way that had those outdoor spaces like that where you could go and spend hours just hanging out at, and we really wanted to bring a feel like that up here, and we hope that we've accomplished something like that.
Yeah, so to that point, I mean, it's getting a little bit colder now, so some of the things have been brought in. But what does a normal summer look like out there? Is it yard games? Is it just tables? Like, what is it out there?
Yeah, we have a couple cornhole board sets. We have I don't know, bigger than human size beer pong.
Yard
Well,
pong.
you can't say beer pong.
We've had several names, iterations for it.
Honestly,
Yard pong, we're calling it right now.
little kids love it. Like, we have the gravel stone area in the back. That's our beer garden. Eventually we want to get fire pits. We want to put in some outdoor heaters. It'll be more of a 3 seasons type space.
There'll be an outdoor bar out there.
Yeah.
It's plumbed for that
cool.
right now, so we're gonna have space for that. The plan is to eventually be able to do some outdoor events out there, live music, stuff like that.
What we find is the parents love hanging under the patio overhang, and the kids play in the back, and
Sure.
the dogs kind of roam around back there, and it works good, right? Everyone's within earshot, everyone's visible, and everyone seems to get along. So
Yeah.
it's a perfect middle ground between like New York Beer Project, Brightsmith is further north, and then you have everybody you named in the South Towns, and now you guys are here, and it's the perfect blend because we're not in the middle of nowhere. Like, we're
Yeah.
literally on Genesee, and we're right by Lancaster Speedway for those familiar with the area, which really opens up a lot of opportunities for people. Like, Cheektowaga, it's a 12 to 20 minute drive depending on traffic. If you have to cut across the airport, if you're on this side of transit, then it's super convenient
Yeah.
because otherwise you're just taking Genesee. It's a straight shot. I mean,
Yep.
there's nothing crazy, and you opened up a massive opportunity with indoor outdoor space to just facilitate it. The issue that you've alluded to off camera so far is parking.
yeah.
Where people are flagging each other down saying like, you can take my spot, I'm leaving. So do you want to touch on that? And then did you anticipate that, because your parking lot's not small?
No, it's not
No.
small. We've had people reach out, you need to get more parking. My lot's only so big, so 56 spots get eaten up pretty quickly. But people get creative. They park, hey, if you drive a truck, park on the grass, park in front of the sign.
We encourage carpooling. We
Carpooling
also
is
encourage
great.
ride sharing,
Ride
right?
sharing,
We
great.
also want to encourage people to be responsible.
Yeah.
So Uber and Lyft are always encouraged, right?
Shut up, Drew. Stop telling them to park on the lawn.
Yeah, I mean, we have some thoughts about what we could do as far as expanding parking going forward. We're probably not going to share them right now because nothing's set in stone. We do hope to be able to expand the parking situation.
You can say it. I mean, you started with this massive monstrosity of a building. You're probably going to build a parking garage. You can just say it.
Listen,
I don't want to put one in front of the
8 to
building.
10 levels at the minimum, fingers crossed.
Like Disney, like
Hotel.
across the way.
Yeah.
A monorail.
Some people movers, all sorts of stuff, right?
That's phase 2.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be there. Fire pits are 1.5.
1.1B.
Parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe underground.
That'd be cool.
Oh, you can't. Well, bedrock's only like 5 feet down, so never mind.
Don't want to interfere with the sewer.
It's true.
Anyway,
So, you being a home brewer and coming into this through that vein, we've talked with a lot of breweries that started on like a 5-barrel system or a 3-barrel system or something like that. What was your logic on going right to a 7?
It wasn't that much more to go to a 7. I actually, the brewing community has been great to us, right? Like Carl Colby, Pressure Drop, Evan Fleury, all the guys in the brewing community have been awesome. And,
people, not guys.
people.
People.
Yep.
Sure.
And it's been, they really guided a lot of our process, right? Like I had picked out a supplier, but I wasn't sure if they were the right ones. And, Carl used the same company. So I went down to Pressure Drop and met with him, and, he walked me through his system. He gave me some pointers and told me, do this, don't do that kind of stuff. Right. And, we got an oversized mash tun, so we can do 10 barrel batches in there, which allows us to do higher gravity beers. So this 8.1 double dry hop New England, I didn't have to overstretch my mash tun. I could have done a 9%er if I wanted to, or, I can get the same volume that I want out of a regular, out of a higher gravity beer than I would have otherwise. So, I kind of had that 7-barrel, 5 to 7 barrel, is like a good sweet spot for starting out. It allows us to do, I sized it based on how many beers I thought I was going to sell, which actually got pretty close. We go through about a batch a week. At least that's what we've been seeing. So, that's what I want. I want to be brewing once a week. We've been brewing once to twice a week to keep up with demand. So, that's kind of where you size it from a standpoint that, when you're picking your brew house, how often do you want to be brewing, right? I mean, that's how I looked at it.
We also saw too, just being able to learn from not mistakes, but just seeing the other breweries that have opened in the past 5 years, how quickly so many of them grew out of the systems they started with and moved into bigger systems, right? We kind of learned from that. It happened very quickly for many of them, and we didn't, not necessarily that was a mistake for them, but we knew that that was a real possibility for us, and if that was going to happen, we might as well start bigger. We had the space. We weren't limited by space. We weren't in a tiny area where we needed to start with something like a 1-barrel or a 3-barrel. We had the room. So if we had the capital, we might as well start with as big of a system as we possibly could so that we didn't have to be faced with upgrading quickly.
Sure.
It's interesting too because we've been talking about this and like sitting down with you guys for years, and it's really cool to sit here and have this conversation in something that you guys built, and it's wild too because we know the same people. We've talked to the same people. We've interviewed the same people. And the consensus was, even at the beer festival that we worked, everyone's like, yeah, they're already a brewery. They're just waiting for the building. And it was just such a weird dynamic where it was backwards for probably the first brewery in Western New York for that to happen to. But it was just, you had such a cult following, and nothing about it was like illegal, like you weren't making money or, whatever. No. But it was just like, everyone knew your products were good. It's almost similar to Breyer Brothers, where they had this massive cult following on the back end of just people that love the beer, and they're just like, guys, just find the spot.
When are you opening?
Find the spot.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that you guys were one of that.
Yeah, what do you attribute that to, though? Like, how did you guys build that following?
It was that peanut butter beer. I'm telling you.
It probably
so
was. Yeah. Yeah. That gave me nightmares of trying to clean everything afterwards.
To me, I would just attribute like the following that Drew and Justin have gained to the fact that Drew has worked so hard to just research the shit out of absolutely everything involved in brewing, making beer, running a brewery, opening a restaurant. Like, he doesn't do anything halfway. He does everything 150%, and he has just worked his ass off to be able to do this successfully. It has never been something that he's done halfway, and I think that shows for people. Like, it's just never been a hobby. It's been something that he's worked really, really hard at, and his products have shown that hard work, and I think the building shows that, and the operation shows that, and I think people appreciate that.
Yeah, even as a home brewer, like, you talk to Justin, you talk to Ashley, it's like I didn't stay in my driveway very long brewing with Coleman cooler and
That's
a
right.
pot, right? I went to all grain very quickly.
I have pictures on a napkin of him. We were at a restaurant one day, and he's drawing out the electric brew system of how it's going to run, and there's like circuits and like weird shit that I don't know how to like, I didn't even know what it was. I remember taking a picture of it and saying, like, what is this? And it's just his brain and working. I mean, brewing is science, right? It's chemistry, and even putting together the brewing system is science, and he cares about it. It's all he thinks about. It's all he does. Like, it's a lot.
You're not
he
just
lives and breathes it.
You're not just a brewer. You got to be, you got to be a mechanic. You got to be an electrician. You got to know how to do all that stuff. That's why, like, all these guys, the business owners, the brewers in the community. I mean, it is so much more than just brewing beer.
Yeah, he didn't get a Mr. Beer kit and brew 2 batches of beer and think, hey, I'm really good at this. I'm going to open a brewery. Like, it's so much more than that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just giving credit to the other guys. I mean,
of course, but
it's so much. Right?
it's a lot. It's a
there's
lot
so
more
much
than I think the average consumer realizes that they know about and know how to do.
Yeah, it's funny because our last interview we did with a brewery was Flying Bison, which was one of the first breweries in the area.
Yeah.
And now this brewery is one of the newest breweries in the area. So hearing his thoughts on the brewing community in Buffalo and how it's evolved since he started was crazy. But I'm interested to hear, like, you brought up Carl and you brought up Evan Fleury.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what other mentors or anything did you have in the community that you kind of bounce ideas off of? Because I'm sure, again, going to a 7-barrel system, not many people had 7 barrels.
All the other brewers that are just starting out, right? Like, even those guys, like, I even find they're coming to us, asking questions, right? And it's like, I don't know shit. Like, you're asking me? Well, here, let me connect you with this guy. Or, we're part of the Western Europe Brewers Guild, right? It's a great community of all those folks I mentioned and others that, Rusty Nickel and, it's
Joe Marshall from
Joe
Lily
and
Bell and
Trish.
TIL. They're in the village of Lancaster, so they've been so welcoming to us. Obviously,
Josh
they're our
at West
closest
Shore.
neighbor. We
West
have
Shore.
Resurgence's old canning machine here
Oh,
in
cool.
our brewing
And if
area.
you're watching, I'm going to be calling in a favor on that. So we're going to
Jeff
plug it in.
Ware.
We're going to plug it in soon. So
May need some help.
Drew, I might need your help if you're watching.
So yeah, help from Resurgence. Just everybody's been really great in an industry where you may think when a new brewery is announced, the other breweries may roll their eyes and just think, oh my God, another one. Nobody has done that. They've just been super welcoming and friendly and helpful.
Everyone was just waiting, man. Literally everybody was waiting for a building.
Yeah.
They already knew you were here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. When you talk about, like, putting the cart before the horse, right? Most breweries, like, if you're just renovating a space, the long pole in the tent, right, is your license, right? And it's getting the New York State, SLA to give you your manufacturer's permit, right? And for us, we applied for that in 2020, right? Well, you have to have land. You have to have a land and a lease and, like, prove that you can build a physical building or at least renovate one at that point. That's what allows you to, like, submit your application, and then they'll work on it. But it, like, takes like 6 to 8 to 10 months to get one. So if you're just renovating a building, as long as you get that lease in place, your renovations generally aren't, like, 10 or 12 months long.
Yeah, there were breweries that I think announced they were opening after us and have opened before
Like, I think
us.
Spotted
'Cause it just didn't
Octopus-
take us. It took us so much longer to build
Sure.
this place.
Yeah, like I think those guys at Spot Octopus were waiting on their license, right? And I think thankfully the temporary license or something kicked in, and then they were able to. There was a
Yeah,
new,
one
new
at
like,
Cat too. I think same
Yeah.
thing. They were able to they announced after us and were able to open because
Yep.
they were renovating and working on their building.
So
But it was an existing building. It just doesn't take.
I mean,
Construction takes a long time.
yeah,
Sure.
we had our license September of last year. Our conditional approval. That the only thing left on our approval list was finish construction. Like, you just have to
Yeah.
have, and we like had foundation walls at that point, and we're like,
Sure.
ugh.
What from the construction standpoint, I mean, sweat equity's one of the best stories to ever have as a business owner. It's like literally I built this with blood, sweat, and tears. How was that process? I assume with something like this, it was just union cats climbing over each other trying to build a wall. Like, what was that whole experience like?
I mean, so in my former role, I worked at Lindy for 15 years. We did construction there, execution management there, and construction projects and stuff, dealing with contractors. I mean, we had a great group of contractors that, they were great to work with. But me, my father, Ashley, we're very much like do-it-yourself people. So, like, if there was some small little project that we could do ourselves, we would do it. Like, I mean, back in the corner here, I'm building a hostess stand, right? Because we have a rinky-dink one right now. We wanted to trim out, the draft system. I put that in myself. We balanced, we did the math, balanced the lines. Beers pour pretty good. I mean, we're still figuring it out, but
We did the flooring up on the second floor. They just
my
finished
father did
that.
that.
His
Yeah.
dad did that.
Yeah. It's-
The pond liner.
We assembled
they
the
did
brew
themselves.
house,
They built the fence themselves. Did all the grass seed on all the landscaping by
Our
themselves.
chef, myself, and our
Yes.
sous chef built our fence. So when you
Couple
come
of the kitchen
here,
staff came in and helped. I mean, it
Yeah.
was just we had contractors and they did a great job, but it was also a lot of
there's just
us doing a lot of
yeah. I
work.
mean, we put the sign in.
Yeah.
Buffalo Brew Fab did the metal work on the sign, but like the structure of it and everything, the lighting, all that was ourselves, right? I mean, I wanted something unique, and I kind of wasn't able to articulate how exactly I wanted everything, and kind of falls to me then to execute it. So
We built those tap boards. We designed them ourselves. We wanted something. We didn't want the typical chalkboard
Yeah.
looks. I wanted something a little bit cleaner. So we came up with the design, figured out how to execute those ourselves.
Yeah, it's very like a clean industrial looking here.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Is
we
that what
love
the
it.
Pinterest board was?
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah.
I called it. I think I called it like West Coast Modern Farmhouse. I think I
Okay.
called it.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Crushed it.
Thank you.
Who did the general layout? Like, okay, well, I'm going to draw a square.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start mapping. Was it both of you with an architect?
Yeah, we worked through Carmina Wood Morris. Joe Dorbiala, shout out to him, did a great job on the layout. We got together some late nights and sat around giant TV, and he sketched up some layouts.
Drank a lot of
and
beer while doing
drank
it.
some beers and spitball ideas. Everything from how do you.
We used my Pinterest board as a start, just saying.
That was it, right? But we looked at everything like to how does the sun track through the sky, and where is it in the fall versus the summer versus the spring, and how do you orient the building so it looks big from the road, and
Where's the wind going to be from the
predominantly wind
patios?
patterns, like crazy stuff you wouldn't think about, but like
and things we were able to do that we wouldn't have been able to do
Right.
if we bought an existing building
Sure.
or
Yeah.
in a strip mall, right?
It's a really good point, though, especially from the HVAC standpoint. Having the prevailing winds that are northwest in our
Yeah.
area, that's a massive impact because you're going to
Absolutely.
get hit with all the snow, all the cottonwood. So kudos to you because most people don't think about that or know about it. That's amazing.
Is that from your construction experience that you need to do?
partly, I mean, it's a little bit of that, but I mean, I did we put a pool in our house a few years ago, and that was something we were considering, right? Like, where do we put the shed and the overhang and all this stuff? And you gotta,
And also, he just overanalyzes everything and thinks about
Like
all of this stuff.
like I
so
said,
his brain works differently than a lot of other people.
we would still not be open if it was up to me at
It's
this point.
true.
So talking about being open, you obviously have an extensive list of beer, but you keep mentioning your kitchen and your chef. Can you talk a little bit about your food and what food options? Because it's not just a general pub food, right?
No.
Yeah. How many employees do you have?
We have 24 employees currently.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I said.
Every single one of them is amazing.
They are, yeah.
We have the best staff. Our team is awesome. And our chef is right up there at the top. He is from Las Vegas.
What?
Came to Buffalo a couple years ago. His fiance's family is from Buffalo, so he came here a couple years ago. He's just brought this cool West Coast vibe here. His menu is it's elevated pub food. It's got some unique aspects. The presentation is beautiful. We have had so much good feedback on the food. I can't say enough about him, his presentation, his creativity. He's got so many great ideas for us going forward. I mean, the menu that we have right now is creative and amazing, but where he wants us to be going forward is just even better. And I think we're just going to be phenomenal going forward.
So like a West Coast style, but like name a dish that's on there. It's not like a spicy cheeseburger. Like what are you?
No. Okay, so I would say probably the deep fried develed eggs have been one of the knockouts on the menu. They're obviously deep fried deviled egg. They have sriracha aioli. They've got like a bourbon braised pancetta bacon on the top. Ooh. They're so good. He's got a deep fried grilled cheese that's amazing. He's got a chicken sandwich that he will tell you, and chefs they all have big egos, but he will tell you it's the best chicken sandwich in Buffalo, and I have to agree, to be perfectly honest.
We've gotten the most good feedback out of any dish. I mean, we've gotten a lot of great feedback about flatbreads, the salads, the burgers, but
that
like
chicken
chicken sandwich by far, like I got people pulling me aside as they're walking out, like, that chicken sandwich, like,
really?
There's the sauce on it.
It's a secret sauce. He won't tell anybody what's in it.
Is it grilled or fried?
It's a crispy chicken sandwich. It's got provolone, it's got pickles, brioche bun, and Chef Manny's secret sauce.
Nice.
Which I cannot disclose the
Sure,
recipe.
yeah, absolutely.
But I highly recommend it.
It's really good. Yeah.
So looking back, you guys have been open for how long now?
This is week 6.
6 weeks, yeah.
Count them in weeks.
What are your thoughts now? Like, does this exceed expectations? Are you guys still looking to make it? Like, what are your thoughts now after being open for this long?
There are so many thoughts.
Take a nap.
Take a vacation.
Yeah, right.
No, it's a ton of work, but I mean, I had no illusions that it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm super excited where we're headed, right? Like I look at like where we were when we opened day one, and it was a line from here all the way around the back and out onto the patio, and people were parked out on Genesee, and it was like, oh my God, what do we do?
And we were terrified. And I mean, it sounds great, but like we didn't know how to handle it.
No.
And we had some negative feedback in those first couple days because we had made some decisions about how we were going to handle things, and we just didn't know what we were doing, right? And we very quickly made some adaptations and some changes, and we feel like we've just made leaps and bounds in those first few weeks. We've made a lot of changes. We've I think we've just come a long way in those first few weeks.
Like what? Just like wait times and people?
No, it was.
It's just
I mean,
process, flows,
process-wise.
Procedures, just ways to get people in the door and seated faster, and just better experiences for people.
I mean, admittedly, we're not restaurateurs, right? We don't
We
come
didn't
from the
come
restaurant
from the food and beverage industry. Neither
right?
of us did.
So, thankfully, we've hired a great chef. We have a great front of house manager.
Taproom manager is amazing as well.
Mandy's awesome. We've got. We got all the horsepower we need to be great, and we're walking before we're running, right? That's how we say the menu's awesome right now, but we got some great ideas coming, right? Like brunch is coming back. We had brunch on the first week, second week I think it was awesome. Like we talk about that West Coast feel. We had the doors open. It was light and airy. It was like 70 degrees out.
This is great coffee house brunch vibe.
Yeah, it was
then
great.
We kind of quickly realized it was too much, right? Yeah. Our staff, although we have 24 people on staff, it's really not that many when you're trying to do a full brunch menu. You're trying to switch over the kitchen to dinner. It's a long day for our kitchen staff. It's a big menu. And we're like, you know what? Let's dial it back. We'll bring brunch back when we've had a couple months under our belt. We've got a few more people in the kitchen that can kind of break up the day for people. So, just learning experiences and things that we're kind of just trying to figure out.
For sure.
But yeah, it's coming back.
It will come back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So walk me through, if somebody comes in here first time, what are you guys known for? First of all, how do you pronounce
Yes. Okay.
Thank you for
the
asking.
age-old
is-
question?
Not Brazen. It is Brazen.
Brazen?
Brazen Brewing.
The word is brazen. Do you know what the word brazen means?
I do not.
Okay. Do you want to give
Like,
me a
It's not a
definition?
high-level word.
Brazen? Do you know?
Yeah, it's the actual definition is like
Did you look this up before you
no, it's not necessarily.
He's gonna give the Merriam-Webster. I didn't look it up.
No, it's from my understanding of it, it's not a like a it's the PC way of saying it's just like the F it mentality. We're just gonna do it.
It's like bold. I would
It-
say
yeah.
it means bold
Sure.
for the most part.
Unapologetically, yeah.
Unapologetic
No,
or
yes,
bold. Yeah,
right.
for sure.
Yeah. So
It's the brazen approach. Like we're just
Yes.
gonna like
We're
F
gonna
it.
do
Let's
it.
just do
I
it.
got you.
so
It's been used a lot in the last several years in news stories with the rise of many dictators around the world. They've said there's been brazen attempts
Sure.
or brazen, you know.
Read
things.
history, Derek.
I guess I've just never seen it written down before. So is that why you chose the name?
no. I mean,
I mean, it's not after any dictators for sure.
no. I mean, like honestly, it came about. You know, we hemmed and hawed about what the name should be, and we very much wanted to be like something that, you know, gave some kind of feeling or had like, you know, kind of like a bold name, and brazen has that, right? It's a pretty bold word, but it's literally just this is a pretty brazen thing for me and Ashley to undertake, right? So
We felt like once we, so we started with the strip mall idea, right? And once it kind of came to fruition that we were going to build this building, and we knew that we were going to leave our jobs, because I left my job in March of 2020, knowing that this was on the horizon, and Drew knew that he was going to be leaving his job at some point. We felt like that was a pretty brazen thing to be doing, to take this, make this move.
Yeah.
And
So-
it kind of came from there. Plus,
Yeah.
we thought it sounded cool. So
there's an awesome brewery in Houston called Brazen Brewing, and I love their beer. And it's like a synonym kind of,
Yeah.
but
It's the alliteration.
but like I love they do some crazy, we would never go their marketing direction because they're more, like middle finger everything, but like they're awesome. I loved going to that brewery when I visit Houston. I did for work a lot, and so that kind of like tipped me into, Brazen, right? So
Sure. That's cool.
Makes me happy.
So we're sitting here getting ready to record. Two people come up in the parking lot. We're closed today. So can you tell people what your hours are? Because
Yeah.
clearly you can't be open on the weekends and during the week.
Yeah, so right now we're Wednesday, Thursday 4 to 10, Friday 4 to 11, Saturday noon to 11, and Sunday noon to 8. So Bill's party on Sundays.
Nice.
We have specials. We're starting out we're getting some events going. We got Hatches and Hops actually. Well, this will air later, but tomorrow. So
Nice.
so yeah, we got the Axe Wagon coming out. We got yoga coming.
we're
Pure
doing
Bar.
fitness classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturdays and Sunday mornings. On the weekends, we've got we're gonna have some trivia coming up on Wednesday nights going forward, like a Family Feud style trivia, which is a little bit unique to the area instead of regular trivia, which will be cool. Some crafting classes, charcuterie boards, loaded lumber is going to be coming in. We've got a succulent planting class. We're going to have bonded buffalo coming in to do the permanent jewelry. So we just got some fun, cool, unique events coming in.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun stuff. Like, I'm really excited to bring this stuff out to the north towns, east towns, I guess. I don't know,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know
but
what
like,
I would classify it as.
yeah, this is the stuff that a lot of times would be downtown, right? And now we're bringing it out to the suburbs a little bit, and I think that's awesome, right? I hope people come out on the weekends and for the bar class and for the yoga, and stay and have a drink. Bring your boyfriend or your husband and your kids out and have them hang out and have a beer and some pizza or something.
So where can people find where all the classes and events and everything are?
Yeah, so our social media is probably the best way to keep up with us. We're at Brazen Brew Co. on Instagram, and our Facebook is Brazen Brewing.
And you're very responsive, I might add.
I try my best. It's usually always me. It's never Drew. So if you are messaging me on Facebook or Instagram, it's me. Nice to talk to you.
I love it.
It's me on the email.
Yeah. Usually you just forward it to me and then I respond on the email as well. So it's usually always me.
You're busy building a fence, man.
Yeah, it's true.
No more fences. I'm done with fences.
He's building the host stand.
I got host stand. I got tile work. The list is long.
He's doing tile in the bathroom too. I didn't even mention that right now.
It's wild.
It never stops, and it never will stop.
It never will.
I have a hope that it will slow.
But it won't.
It will.
Will
You can
it?
only tile so much. Eventually, you
Right.
run out of wall space.
I'll find more projects for you to do. If not here, then at home.
You know what I
At
equate
all.
it to? It's like when you move into a house, your first house you ever bought, and you have to buy all the stuff for that house, right? You need mops, you need dustpans, you need cleaning supplies, you need everything, right? You need furniture, you need all that stuff, and you're like, wow, we're doing it like 4x, right? Because it's just huge, right?
Sure.
But it's it's.
But you always need more napkins here.
Always need more napkins. Yeah, if anybody has a good line on black dinner napkins, I don't
Keep
know
running
why.
out, and they are very expensive.
It's funny. It's like can't find dinner napkins.
It's interesting.
Weird,
Black.
weird things that we struggle to source.
Sure. So, what would be a beer that you would recommend somebody try when they come in? Do you have a style like this is what we do?
Yeah. Well, no. Yes. Yeah.
That is a very definitive answer.
I like to brew everything.
That's the most
okay?
Drew answer ever.
Yeah,
It's true.
It depends
What do
on
you-
the season and my mood of the day. But
Drew likes to brew New England IPAs. Just answered the honest truth.
I don't like to admit it, but yes.
That is
So-
what Drew likes to brew. Ashley likes to tell Drew that you have to brew everything. That is the answer.
Good answer.
That's I feel like I just sat in a psychiatrist's chair.
So that stud loser is your
That's
favorite
the
one.
Drew
on
brew
there? Okay.
on the board right now.
That was my yes. Yeah, I'm very proud of that
Yes.
one. I think it turned out great. It's soft, pillowy. It's got all the
The
checks all
hallmarks of
checks all
the New
boxes.
England IPA.
Yep. So
Yeah. So the thing is, what we keep saying though is it doesn't really matter what we like to brew or what we like to drink. It matters what the people that are coming here like to drink, right? So we'll let people tell us what they want, and they have told us many times, right? They've come in and they've said, "Why don't you have a Pilsner on?" And for the first couple of weeks, we didn't have a Pilsner on, even though that Pilsner that's on the board was the second beer we brewed because Pilsners take longer to
Sure.
sit in the
Just
tank
need a
and
little
get
more
ready.
time.
So the customers will tell us what they want to drink, and we'll keep making them. We had a couple sours on when we started. They sold like crazy. We have the sour IPA on right now, which is awesome. We don't have a regular sour on. We've got one in the tank that's fermenting. That'll be ready soon. We'll try to always keep a sour on because we know that people want that. We'll always keep an IPA on, at least one, if not more, because again, those have been selling really great. You've got that stout. You had that stout in front of you, Mike, that you really liked. That
It's
stout
really
is
good.
still on from when we opened. So maybe in the summer that is not going to be a style that's not going to sell as well. But in the winter, I think we've got an imperial stout that's really good. That's almost ready.
Yeah.
So I think in the
That'd be
colder
really nice.
months that'll sell really well. We'll just kind of see what people like to drink and go from there.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and to that point, your list is extensive. I mean, there's wheats, pilsners, stout, English dark milds, IPAs, brown ales, sour
Yeah.
sessions. Like you're basically going to be providing somebody what they want. Just come down and try it.
Yeah,
We're trying.
We're trying.
I
Yeah.
mean-
we got 15. I have 20 faucets total. Right, we're always going to have cider. We want to have kombucha. We're going to have a wine that pours out of one of them. That's 5, and then the rest of the 15 are beer. Right, so I got 8 on right now. I got room for 7 more. So we'll as some of these hang on longer, we'll keep them on there, and we'll keep brewing new stuff. So
But what's
eventually
also
we'll
cool-
get to 12, 13.
Yeah.
We didn't mention we kept our homebrew system and we brought it here. So what's cool is we're going to brew experimental brews on the small
Oh, sweet.
system,
Yeah.
things that we don't know how they're going to sell or if people will like them, and we'll bring them on and we'll say these are limited, right? Come in, try them, let us know what you think, and if they sell well, if people like them, we'll brew on the big system and we'll try them out there. But we're definitely planning on doing those as well. We'll brew on a brew day. We'll do a 7-barrel batch of one of the regular beers, and we can do the pilot system at the same time. And we've got a couple of brews that we're planning on the small system just to see how they do.
Are you guys planning on canning at all in the future?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
You said you got the Resurgence can.
Yeah,
Yep.
we have their old line, so we'll get that fired up hopefully in the next month or two, and start cranking out 4-packs. So in the next, I'm hoping by Christmas I got 4-packs of something to sell. So
Cool.
Yeah.
And then
Good
do you
for
have
you.
liquor here and stuff too? Yeah.
Yeah, so we have our farm brewer's license, which allows us to sell New York State wine, ciders, and liquors. So we have a really nice wine list that we're starting. It started small, but we are starting to expand it. We've got OSB ciders. We always have 3 ciders on tap, and we have New York State liquor. We've got about an 8 to 10 drink cocktail list right now, which is really nice. Our taproom manager has put it together. It's a really nice cocktail list, and it's expanding. Kind of as we speak. It's seasonal. We've got a couple really nice pumpkin fall cocktails on it right now, and it'll change seasonally.
Yeah, the big thing we always wanted to have was something for everybody, right? So even if you come in and you're not a beer drinker, we've got cider, right? The cider's been OSB does awesome cider. If you've
Yeah,
never
they
been
do.
to their tap room, go check them out.
Sweet.
They do awesome stuff. I really like. It's kind of timely, unfortunately, but Gangster's Paradise, it's a good one. And we got things for non-alcoholic, folks, right? Kombucha, we have all the Pepsi products, all that kind of stuff. So, we've got something for everybody. Even the kids come out. Kids are more than welcome.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Well, you guys are crushing it. I mean, just pulling up to the place, it's insane how beautiful it looks. I mean, I don't know if you guys could have done a better job. So congratulations. That's
Thanks.
awesome. And thanks for letting us celebrate your anniversary with you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We would have it
We
no other way.
appreciate it.
No, appreciate you guys coming out. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Go check them out on their social media and come out and try beer. Just have fun, enjoy the experience, and just visit this beautiful place. It's huge. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.